each and every day, we as individuals have to make decisions, whether large or small. And really, what is it that drives our decision-making process? Well, there are a number of factors. But one of the factors that we're going to consider that's most important this morning is, what do you value? Right? So when you're making a decision, when you're weighing the pros and the cons of a situation, what ultimately determines the direction that you will take are the things that you value, the values that you've been taught, or the values that you have learned over your lifespan. So now, really, the drive behind what we do, what we decide to do, has to do with what we see value in. Now, according to my notes, listen to this as a definition for values. It says personal values are the things that are important to us, the characteristics and behaviors that motivate us and guide our decisions. So now automatically we're thrown into an arena where whether our decisions turn out good or whether they turn out bad is solely based upon the things that we value, right? And so one of the things that is very, very important to us on this particular platform is accountability. Knowing what it is that you owe and doing what's necessary to pay in regards to the things that you owe. And so you can see the correlation between the two. There's a correlation between what you value and what you end up being accountable for. So why do I say that? Because accountability is taking responsibility for the decisions that you make. And the way that you arrive at the decisions that you make is based upon the things that you value. So you see the correlation between the two? There are no decisions made without values, right? And there's no accountability without decisions being made. So it's a progression of things. But now it's important at this particular point that I emphasize that what you value, in no uncertain terms, will determine your destination in life. It will determine what kind of person you become. It will determine the people that you associate with. It will determine almost every facet of your life. That's how important the things that you value are, the values that you've been taught. They're so very important. But now that we've addressed that issue of accountability, there's another statement that I want to read from my notes that I think is noteworthy. It says your values are the things that you believe are important in the way you live and work. They should determine your priorities. Now notice this part. And deep down, they're probably the measure you use to tell if your life is turning out the way you want it to. So as I mentioned, it is no exaggeration on my part to tell you that the things that you choose to value have a far-reaching effect into the future. Because from that particular statement, it's a means of measuring whether or not you are where you want to be in life. Values do that. And so it's necessary for us to take a moment to think about the things that we value. Okay? And help us do that, really, our value system is really set up for 3 particular groups. And I'll share those groups with you. The first group is character values. And character values are the universal values that you need to exist as a good human being. So that the characteristics, the traits that help us to nurture relationships with others. Maybe you have a family. Those are the character values within the family that you use to help the family stay together. To make sure that the friendships that you have cultivated throughout your life stay intact. Those are character values. So what are some examples of character values? Commitment, loyalty, positive attitude. Yeah, we've heard that. And respect. So those are just a few examples of character values. These are things that have stood the test of time. And they've been found to be beneficial, not just for the person themselves, but for everyone around them. Think about that. Loyalty. Don't you like a person that's loyal? Don't you respect a person's ability to maintain your confidence when you tell them something that's personal? That's all a part of loyalty. And that's one of the character values that are listed as an example here. Then the next one is work values. Now, work values are values that help you define what you want in a job, and they give you job satisfaction. So think about that. Some of the characteristics and behaviors that help you to be successful in your job, that help you to be successful in providing for yourself and, if necessary, for your family members. Now, what are some examples of work values? It mentions here being hands-on, having public contact, maybe prestige and stability. So out of all of the ones that were mentioned, which one is important to you? I know one that stood out to me is stability. And really that's something that you have to have, even though it's fleeting nowadays. Even though a lot of things are unstable, your ability to provide for yourself is based upon finding something that you can do that's lucrative, and then making sure that you give your best effort. I've always found that to be something that produces stability. So those are the work values that we could possibly use. And now the last one, something very important, personal values. Now we've already addressed it a little bit, but we're going to go a little further with it, okay? Personal values are values that help you define what you want out of life, and they will assist you in being happy and fulfilled. Okay, so now out of the three, this has to be the most important. Personal values, because as you notice, it really defines what you want out of life and whether or not you get it. And then at the end, it mentions here, it assists you in being happy and fulfilled. There are a lot of individuals, I see them on a daily basis. They're at work, they're fulfilling their responsibilities as far as employment is concerned, but these people aren't happy. They don't find any fulfillment in what they do. And so the personal values that you have dictates that. It has a direct correlation on your happiness. Because if you make a decision and that decision is based on a value that's flawed, then that's going to affect your happiness. There's so many individuals who make decisions on flawed values. You hear so many times that there are individuals who are millionaires and billionaires who have devoted their whole life to the acquiring of wealth. And at the end of their life, they regret the choice that they made, the values that they took on, because usually there's no one else there but them. And so that's a flawed value. So what is an example of a value that could be beneficial to you and to me? Well, the research goes on to say that an example of a good personal value would be valuing family life, popularity, health, and appearance. Now, all of those things are good. What is one that I think we should pull out? Health. Health is a personal value that we should really look into. Health. And I don't mean just physical health. I mean health in all areas: spiritual health, mental health, and physical health. All of these things play into your quality of life. They play into whether or not in life you attain the things that you need, because you have to be physically healthy in order to put forth the effort to produce the lifestyle that you want. And then you have to be spiritually healthy so that you'll find fulfillment, right? And then you have to be mentally healthy so that you can maintain all of the things that are required of you. So you need all of those. And all of those are affected by your personal values, the things that you look at that are important to you, the things that you place a high premium on. Those are your values. And as we mentioned, whatever you value is going to dictate the decisions that you make. And whatever you choose to decide is going to dictate what you're accountable for. So in the end, what you value is very, very important, you all. It's not something that you should look at in passing. It's something that you should think about and ponder deeply. So what values will you choose? Well, hopefully from our discussion, you will choose some values that are trustworthy and time tested. You'll choose values that work. And really, in the end, you'll choose values that will help you to get to where you want to be in life. So that's our discussion for this morning. I had to, because I had a conversation with a family member. And one of the things that I noticed in that conversation that kept coming up, it was a reoccurring theme in the conversation, that individuals were making decisions that weren't sound, decisions that could cause difficulty, and it all boils down to what a person values. It all boils down to what they value, because as we learned in the research, what you value is a motivation. And what motivates an individual is what propels them, what pushes them forward. But if you don't have anything positive pushing you forward, do you really expect to have a good outcome in the end? That's something to think about. Okay? So, as I mentioned, that's our show for this morning. Look, last week we were enjoying the family. I apologize for my absence. I try to make sure that on Mondays I have something positive to give you, because listen, there's enough negativity in the world. There's enough things that are happening that could drain your strength. But on Mondays, I want you to be encouraged. I want you to face the world with renewed confidence that you can be effective in the things that you choose to do. That's what this is all about. And I think that it's necessary, because there are enough voices speaking out of negativity. I think we need to focus more on the positive side of things. Okay? So as always, you know how we end this thing, man. Do something positive today. Today. The 24 hours that you've been given, do something positive. And I'm guaranteeing that it'll return to you in greater measure. You know we love you. Peace.